welcome to Talk with Tonya, powered by PECGNA program. This series takes you beyond the surface of surrogacy through meaningful conversations with PECGNA surrogacy expert, Ms. Tonya Canaday, our clinical team, and other guests. In our first episode, we explore a fundamental question. What is surrogacy beyond the headlines? When people hear the word surrogacy, they often think of headlines and celebrities, but behind those stories are real families, complex decisions, and deep human journeys. It is often misunderstood. Who chooses it? How does it work? And why are psychological evaluation part of the process? In this episode, we speak with surrogacy expert Ms. Tonya to break down what surrogacy really means. Thank you for joining us, Tonya.
Thank you so much, Natty, for having us. This is great. Really great to talk with you.
Okay, so let me start with a very, I would say, simple, fundamental question. For someone who has never encountered surrogacy before, how would you explain it in simple terms?
It actually is much more simple than you expect for an explanation. It's when a healthy young woman carries a child that she has no interest in parenting. She's carrying that child to give that child to a family who's going to raise the baby as their own.
Okay, and from my understanding is that there are different types of surrogacies. Could you explain the difference between traditional surrogacy or gestational surrogacy?
Absolutely. So almost all of the surrogacy that is currently performed is gestational surrogacy. What that means is the woman who actually carries the pregnancy herself, she has no genetic link to the baby. So it's not her eggs, it's not her partner's sperm. She is completely unrelated to the genetics of the child. Traditional surrogacy is when the woman who's carrying the baby also uses her egg. That is something that we don't recommend. It's very, very rare that it happens. There's a lot of emotional and legal risks to that. It can happen. It's not illegal in most states in the United States, but it's certainly not something that we concentrate on. So gestational surrogacy is the safest, most ethical way to have this process work.
So why has gestational surrogacy become a more common approach in modern fertility medicine?
You know, it goes all the way back to the beginning of IVF. Prior to the beginning of IVF, it wasn't a possibility for someone to carry a child for someone else. But now, because we can create that embryo in the embryology lab with a donor egg or the intended mother's egg, donor sperm or intended father's sperm, we can create that beautiful embryo. We can prepare the uterus appropriately and put that embryo into that perfectly prepared uterus of the surrogate. So it's more common because it's possible, and also because people are having really beautiful journeys. And so they begin talking to one another, they begin processing how this beautiful thing happened for themselves, and they're sharing it with the world.
On your years of experience, who are the people or families that typically turn to surrogacy?
You know, that's a really good question. And there are people that can't do this without the help of a surrogate, typically. So that could be someone who has a genetic disorder. Maybe they were born without a uterus, or their uterus is oddly shaped, not the right size, making a pregnancy very risky or unattainable. The other people may be someone who's had failed embryo implantations themselves. I know a woman who did 30 embryo transfers and never had a single implantation. That woman cannot have a pregnancy on her own, so she needs help with somebody who has a uterus that is more receptive. Also, there are sometimes women who have what's called reoccurrent pregnancy loss. Reoccurrent pregnancy loss is when somebody's had at least 3 miscarriages. And sometimes those miscarriages are early on, or sometimes they're quite late in the pregnancy. Those types of pregnancies are quite dangerous, and so they often will need a surrogate to help them get to that healthy baby. And the other is the LGBTQ group, because they don't have uteruses often, or they need help with sperm or genetic issues. So they must use surrogacy often to get where they need to be.
Okay. Based on your experience, can you share some example of situations where surrogacy becomes the best path to building a family?
Absolutely. You know, surrogacy is a beautiful journey when it's done ethically. So it's really important that those ethics be wound into every fabric of this process. But I can tell you hundreds and hundreds of stories of families who've finally been able to get to their baby with the help of a beautiful angel that has supported that pregnancy for them.
Mhm. Okay, so you mentioned about the LGBTQ family and how has surrogacy opened like new possibilities for the LGBTQ couples or even single parents who want to have children?
Absolutely. So I've helped, as I mentioned, hundreds of families who are LGBTQ families. You know, we can help these same sex male couples to support them to get an egg donor. And then we can help them to make sure that they have a safe situation for surrogacy. The relationship with same sex male couples and their surrogate is often so special. They're so grateful for the help and it's such a refreshing, beautiful part of humanity to watch everybody helping one another and all the surrogate being so fulfilled for helping create this family. So it's a beautiful journey. We can help them to choose their surrogate. We can help them make sure that they get their surrogacy process done safely and ethically, and it just be beautiful from start to finish.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. It's a beautiful journey indeed. But there are some, like I would say, many misconceptions about surrogacy. And what are the some of the most common misunderstanding that you encounter for surrogacy?
You know, one of the most common misconceptions is that a woman is being taken advantage of in some way in surrogacy. And that, as long as you are connecting to an ethical program, that's just really not the truth. This is a program where women are consenting and even excited to carry a baby for another family. And so I think one of the most common misconceptions is that a woman would not actually be consenting for this and she would be taking advantage of. Another misconception is that the surrogate may want to actually keep the baby herself. That's just absolutely not the truth. But it is a big fear of intended parents that this woman will give birth to a baby and be like, oh no, it's mine. The truth is, in the US, with the legal construct that is there, with the psychological evaluations that are done in advance, we are able to really confirm that this woman is not only ready to have the intended parent hold their baby, but she is excited to make that happen. Thirdly, I would say that one of the most commonly asked questions is people will say, what kind of a woman becomes a surrogate? So there's a misconception on what kind of person actually volunteers to do this. And the common theme of these women is that they are very loving, nurturing mothers. And they love their children and their family so deeply that they are excited and passionate about allowing someone else to have that same love and that same beautiful family construction. So they are women who really want to do this for families because they love their own so completely.